All right, so good morning. And we'll just start sitting in Sukhasana this morning. And having a couple of blocks. All right. Using the arms alongside, lengthening up. Getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Whatever little squinging and shifting you want to do. And slowly releasing with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, arriving a little bit more fully in your body with your breath. Turning your attention a little bit more inward, letting go of the rest of the day. And then let's reach out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. We'll do that twice more. And then breathing the arms up once again, and we'll reach up the one side and the other. Stretching up one side, stretching up the other side, lifting all the way from the base of the spine, so we're not just pulling with the arm. Be a little bit more work through the core and abdominal muscles if you want to, really feeling this into your body. Might not look exactly the same as what I'm doing, might not be exactly on the same timing. And then we will finish with this, with both arms up overhead, stretching out the hands. Big reach down, bringing the hands to Namaste in front. Rolling the shoulders down and back, lifting through the top of the head, softening or closing your eyes, bringing your attention even more inside yourself. And we'll take one Om together, starting with a deep and easeful inhale. And let the head bow forward. Release the hands, putting the backs of the hands on the knees. And slowly lift the head and open the eyes. And then changing the cross of the legs. And coming forward and over. Breathing into the back of the body. Maybe some more squinging. I don't know about you, but this rainy, damp weather has been giving me creaky joints. Ah. And really feeling that breath. And that breath is doing kind of your internal squinging, internally moving around and working out those creaky joints inside. And then let's walk the hands over to the right diagonal. So we're just going to stay low on the diagonal today. And then through the center over to the left diagonal. Feeling every breath and every moment. And then walking the hands to the center. Coming up, unfurling the spine vertebrae by vertebrae back up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale, arriving here in this moment. A little different, or maybe a lot different than we first sat in Sukhasana on our mat. And then coming up in downward facing dog. And being patient with those hamstrings, walking the dog, or anything else you want to do. And then finishing up with whatever you're doing, being in the best downward facing dog of this moment. And we'll lengthen forward to the plank, stretching long and flat against the ceiling. Couple more breaths here. Setting the knees down, long pull back into child's pose. Sliding out into the Sphinx. Pulling back with the elbows, pulling back with the hands wide across the collarbone. Reaching back through the toes. And then lifting yourself up and back up to downward facing dog. Breathing here. Then we'll do that same little sequence again. Forward to the plank, stretching long and flat against the ceiling. The width across the upper back, the width across the upper chest. And setting the knees down, long pull back into child's pose. And into the Sphinx, pulling back with the elbows, pulling back with the hands, reaching back through the toes. And then we'll bend the knees, bridge posing into the floor, squeezing a ball on your back, and then take a moment to realize, think about whether you're kind of just being here, or are you actually trying to pull the upper back up and back a little more, pull the heels a little closer to you. And then extending those legs out, picking yourself up and back up to downward facing dog. And let's lift the right leg up, reaching long through the heel. Bending the knee dog at the high flyer hydrants. Through to the lunge. And we'll take a twist to the right. And then pulling the left knee down to the floor. We'll keep our left hand on the floor, really pressing into the front of the left hip. And if it's available, maybe bending the left leg and pulling that foot in. And then we've got hold of the left foot, letting go. Stepping back to the plank. Going through the vinyasa any version. So that child's pose into Sphinx. That's actually a version of the Vinyasa. And then we're in downward facing dog. Deep breath. And let's lift our left leg up. And bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. And we'll twist to the left. And then pulling that right knee down, keeping the right hand on the floor. Press a little more into the front of the right hip. And if it's available, bending the right leg, pulling the heel. And letting go the right leg. Stepping back to the plank through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. And coming down, and coming into simplified Virasana, sitting on the heels, or if you want, you could sit on a block. Sorry, I forgot to take my allergy pill this morning, and everything is all itchy. Okay. Or maybe sitting on a block between the feet, or something different if your knees or thighs or feet don't want to sit like this. All right, and lengthening up long through the top of the head. And then lifting the chest, and we'll ripple, coming forward, and contract and ripple up. So you can have your hands somewhere on your legs. Maybe it's more useful to have the hands on the floor. Breathing through your spine. And we'll take 3 or 4 more ripplings here. And then finishing with this, back up on top of the sitting bones. Arriving in this moment. And then coming up onto our knees. And the feet are knees are hip distance apart, or maybe whatever your block between your feet is making them. Let's breathe the arms up, and we'll do the interlocked fingers, turning the palms up, pull the elbows wide, reaching down through the knees and the shins, reaching up through the arms. 2 long parallel lines. And then release the hands and into Ustrasana, little back bend, hands on the sacrum. Maybe you can get the heels, or maybe hands on the block if it's back there. Inhale and exhale, feeling all that strength that we had with our 2 parallel lines there. So you want to lift yourself up and over, not flop back. And then coming back up. Big lift up with the arms, Coming back down onto the block or your heels. Inhale and exhale. And coming up off the block. And we'll expand back up into downward facing dog. And maybe through a vinyasa. And let's lift the right leg up. And we'll hover plank. Inhale and exhale, knee forward. Inhale to lift. Let's go twice more. And then through to the lunge. And coming up in either the warrior one or the high lunge. So if you're coming with me, I did high lunge today. And twisting to the right, arms parallel to the floor. And then we'll float that left hand down to the floor into the twist again. And bringing the right hand down, picking the right leg up in the hover plank. Scooping it back up behind you. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrants. Into the shin lunge, sliding out along the shin. And then pressing back through the left heel. And you might have to be more forward, so finding a good spot for yourself. More forward or pressing back a little more. Maybe the right sitting bone sits on the right heel, maybe not quite. And breathe in here. And then sitting off onto the right hip into the half dragonfly. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. If you need to straighten out your right leg, go ahead and do that. Everything will work fine from Konasana. Let's come forward. And coming up to sitting, twisting to the right. And then left hand onto the left leg. And a big reach out. Reach up and over. Side bending while twisting over the left leg. Parivrtta Shirsasana. And a big lift up through the top of the head. And then coming around and into the standing forward bend at the front of the mat. And concave back halfway up. And folding over, taking a deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down and around to Namaste. Namaste, steadiness. And then let's do a half sun salute again. That's coming over into the forward bend and back up. Big inhale, lifting up. Exhale, diving over, taking a breath in the forward bend. And then concave back. Inhale, extending out. Exhale, pouring over. Another breath here. And then coming up to standing again. Big front body yawn. Pressing the arms down, long through the top of the head. And taking a circle with the shoulders to interlock the fingers behind. Lifting up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming over, pressing out through the hands. And releasing the hands. Concave back halfway up, folding over, stepping back with the left leg. So we're still being our right lunge. As we step back with the left leg, coming up in either the warrior one or the high lunge. If you come along with me on warrior 1E this time. Big lift up and then we'll bring the arms down and interlock the fingers. Rolling the shoulders back, lifting up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then coming forward, humble warrior, out along the thigh or maybe deeper down and inside. And then really press the feet into the floor, coming back up. Releasing the hands up overhead. And namaste in front. Namaste into the floor. Stepping back to the plank, through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. Maybe a child's pose in there somewhere if you would like. And then we'll do the left side. Here we are in downward facing dog, lifting the left leg up. And let's take a hover plank knee forward. And lifting back up. And then 2 more hover planks. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 1 more inhale up. And through to the lunge on the left now. Coming up in either the warrior 1 or the high lunge. If you're coming with me, we're high lunging this time. And then we'll twist to the left, arms parallel to the floor. And floating the right hand down into the twist. And then bringing the left arm down, picking up the left leg. And 3-legged dog. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And into the shin lunge, sliding out along the shin, pressing back through that right leg, and as much lift up and over as you can. Left sitting bone reaching for the left heel. Maybe it's not sitting on the left heel. Breathing. And then sitting off onto the left outer hip into the half dragon fly. Or Konasana with the left leg straight. And we'll come forward. And come back up. Let's twist to the left toward the front of the mat. And then right hand onto the right leg, reaching out and up and over, side bending over the right leg while still feeling that twist to the left. Parvrita Ardha Chandra, not Ardha Chandrasana, Parvrita Janushirasana. There and then coming up, long through the top of the head. And then we'll come around to the forward bend at the front of the mat. And concave back halfway up, holding over. Taking another breath here. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And we'll come around to Namaste in front again. And let's do another half sun salute. Big lift up. And diving over. Exhale. Pause the breath. And then concave back. Inhale, expanding out. Exhale, pouring over. Another extra breath here. And coming back up to standing. Big front body yawn. And then we'll press those arms down the side, lengthening up through the top of the head. Circling the shoulders to interlock the fingers behind. Lengthening up to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming up. Releasing the hands. Concave back, folding over, stepping back with the right leg so that we're in the left lunge. And most importantly, the other side than we did. the first time, coming up in either the warrior one or the high lunge. If you're coming with me, it's the warrior one. And then bringing the arms around behind, interlock the fingers, lengthening up to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then coming forward, reaching out long, going down to the lunge. Don't let the lunge come up to you. Maybe just along the leg, maybe going deeper. A little inside that left. And then really pressing the feet into the floor to bring yourself back up. And releasing the arms up overhead. Namaste in front. And namaste into the floor. Stepping back to the plank. Through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. Breathing here. And looking between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. And then we'll bend the knees, coming down to the floor, sitting in Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And holding on to the ankles or shins or feet, lengthening up, pulling up out of the hips and the lower waist as well, and then coming forward. Elbows press down on the legs, and there's also feeling of them pressing out. Up, let's bring those legs in, and we'll come back up into the forward bend. And concave back, folding over, stepping back with the left leg, warrior two on the right. And then dancing warrior, bringing that right arm up in the bay, anchoring the right sitting bone down. And into the triangle, Trikonasana, big reach out. And lengthening longer and longer through the two sides to bring yourself over. And then coming up with the straight legs. Don't move the feet though, still in the same position with the feet. Bringing the arms up overhead, big lift, and then pressing the arms down. We'll interlock the fingers behind, rolling the shoulders out. So really find that center line, the upper arms drawing into it. This going right down from the tailbone. And then we'll tilt into the triangle. So don't let the arms kind of go wacky there if you can help it. Keeping them straight down the line of the spine. So you might not be able to go over that far in your triangle. And then release the hands in into the warrior two. Ah. And then just a big lift from the left arm, the back arm to windmill yourself down to the lunge. Stepping back to the plank. Vinyasa or not. Downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here in downward facing dog, or it could be child's pose. And then looking between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. And then we'll step back with the right leg. Coming up in the warrior two on the left. Breathing here. And dancing warrior. And into the triangle Trikonasana. Breathing your way in. 2 long, strong sides like a floating side plank. And then keeping the straight legs coming up. Bringing those arms up overhead. And then pressing down, interlocking the fingers behind, rolling the shoulders out. And then, I just noticed on this side, my arms want to swing there toward the left. Trying to find that center line there. And then trying to keep that as we start to tilt into the triangle. Don't go too quickly, and maybe you're just not going to get that very far into the triangle, the same depth you do when you have the arms extended. So going where you can go, feeling the shape, feeling the strength, rather than trying to get far. And then warrior two, inhale and exhale. And taking that right arm up and over, stepping back to the plank. And this time, let's in fact do a side plank, or not. Let's go onto the right arm first, bringing the left side up, two long, strong sides. And then back to the center, and onto the left. Whatever your version of the side plank, I think you know that. And then back to the center. Ah, and see if you can hold that plank a few breaths. Still having two long, strong sides. And coming back into child's pose. And let's slide forward onto our stomach, into the Sphinx. And reaching through the toes, we'll do the bent knees again. Squeezing the upper back and heels toward each other, tailbone to the floor. Are you really working those muscles? And then extending the legs out again. Maybe the upper body lifts a little, elbows lifting or lightening up. And coming down, forehead on the hands, taking a couple breaths here. Then coming back up a little, and we will go to the bow pose, bending the knees, getting hold of the ankles, or maybe it's the interlocked fingers, or maybe doing it from the Sphinx again, as we lengthen to lift. Even in the bow pose, as we're pressing the ankles into the hands, there's a press away. There's still a squeeze in at the same time. Calming down. And then let's peel ourselves up. Maybe a couple cat and cow rituals. And sitting down, and let's go once more to Sukhasana. A little different because now it's the end of class and we're going to be doing the forward bend more for the stretchiness in the hips. So if you want to do something a little different, go Mukasana, maybe the box pose or something like that, go ahead. Otherwise, just here we are in Sukhasana, breathing yourself over. Inhale and exhale, breathing into the back of the body. And then let's walk our hands over to the right diagonal. And then let's come up from there on the diagonal, rippling up, back to the center, changing the cross of the legs, and coming forward once again. And then walking the hands over to the left diagonal. Coming up from the diagonal, back to the center, and then we will make our way into Shavasana. Ah. Inhale and exhale, letting go of all effort, just resting into the floor. And breathing back into your body, moving fingers and toes, getting circulation going. Stretching the arms up overhead. And bending knees. And gently making your way up to sitting. Eventually making your way up to sitting. Or, I don't know, maybe not. And if you do arrive there, sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine, taking a few more moments, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.